Hello there. Hope everybody's doing great on this Tuesday, back again for another episode of Sports Talk with the Deal Maker. I want to ask one question, as you can see in the title of this video. Can Shawn Elliott make an impact on the offensive line or South Carolina program in general in a week? That's a question. What do y'all think? Well, here's the thing. Shane Beamer just had his weekly press conference, right? Previewing Oklahoma. Of course, he gave Oklahoma and Brent Venables a lot of credit, and rightfully so. They're a highly ranked team in the SEC, and they do a lot of things defensively, and they do a lot of things offensively. And I picked up on a few things. I don't know if y'all did in the press conference, that there was a whole lot of optimism in Shane Beamer, a whole lot more, I guess you would call, pep in his step. Something that I haven't seen him really do all year long. Well, I say that. He probably did a little bit at the beginning of the year after the first two wins. He had a little pep in his step then. But he seemed to be more relaxed. He commented that Shawn Elliott is a different voice in the room. Every coach has different tactics and different methods, and they call things differently. And he even said that Shawn in practice was lining up at what we would call nose guard on defense, across from the center, screaming, hollering, pushing, coaching, in other words, like aggressively coaching the offensive line. Now, to me, that is a positive, because we all know, anybody that knows Shawn Elliott, how intense that he is. He's a very, very, very intense coach. And after saying that, he went down the path. Someone asked a question, and I can't quote it verbatim, but it was like, will we see any scheme difference with Shawn Elliott making the calls offensive line-wise than what we've seen in the past? Beamer actually chuckled and said it out loud, that all he knew is that Oklahoma better go back and watch film when Shawn Elliott coached at South Carolina under Steve Spurrier. They better go back and watch film when he was the head coach of Georgia State. They better go back and watch film when he was at App State. So my question is this. Just by his mannerisms, his positivity, his optimistic views, or the tone in his voice, I'm going to go right out and say it. I think Shawn Elliott not only has changed some major issues in blocking on the offensive line, I think he has changed some mindset of damn near the whole team, including the coaches, including staff members. You could see it all over Beamer. So right now, I'm going to sit here and tell you, and I'm not always doom and gloom. I'll try to look at the positives. Well, today I feel positive. Today I feel positive about what I heard from Shane Beamer in his conference. I do. I do. It was just different. Anybody that watches the program, even Shane, to come straight out and say, another question was asked of how much of the offensive line was the problems with penalties and sacks. And he said, we've been some of the last in the country for the last few years in sacks. No duh, sir. No duh. He called out things that he is yet to call out over a period of 4 or 5 years. To me, that's finally, but it's a positive he's now doing it. I mean, one can ask the question, why does it take till now to do it, right? But at the end of the day, if you knew all along this is the issue, your loyalty and friendship has caused some of your fans to turn against you, to turn against your offensive line, to turn against your offensive coordinator, to turn against your players. And we should never blame the players. It's never the players' fault. If something goes wrong, it's always the coach's fault. The coaches are the adults in the room. They are coaches, which means they coach a specific position and or sport as a teacher. But he all but said it, that was the issue, and he knew it. It was just, again, I keep repeating myself, there was just a calmness about him, almost like a confidence calmness about him. I think Shawn Elliott, do I think we're going to go out and win the game? I'd be probably ignorant to come out and say that. But I've got friends, TRD says it all the time. Oklahoma's beatable. Well, yeah, we saw that. They just lost. But I didn't think we'd stand a chance. My opinion is starting to sway. And I don't believe it's just coach speak. I believe it's a lot of honesty. Again, it was like relief. Y'all please give me y'all's opinion on this matter. Tell me what you think. Can Shawn make that big of an improvement? Just locker room, I guess you would call atmosphere, mindset, creativity, positivity, want to, drive. Call it all of the above. Again, give me your opinion down below. Please like, comment, subscribe. Sports Talk with the Deal Maker, and I am the Deal Maker. And I thank you.